it's not a beautiful, it's not my best work, but I really could not care less. Though this could be a bit smaller, so I do care somehow. Let's see how it fits. No, don't care much. Another piece. Need some here and there. Just a tiny bit. Ooh. So I lined the inside with this stuff. At this frequency it doesn't do anything, I believe. So this is more like a because we always do kind of thing. Yeah, that would be a typical mistake to So I put the woofer in, and for the electronics I bought some screws, and I wanted to have black Parkers, small tiny screws, but they didn't have any black ones, so I have to make them black, which is quite annoying, but while I'm waiting for the paint on the screws to dry, laid out rubber feet on the ugly bottom side, eyeballing it. Use some screws to attach those. Just a regular wood screw. Let me check. Not too huge, not too long. See if we have anything. Not too long. Eyeballing for the win. Okay, let's see if this stands nicely, because this is always the question with 4 feet. That's rock solid. Cool. Still need to make this front. So I got my electronics, got my screws. Let's see if the paint remains when I remove them from this. That works perfectly fine. Okay, so that's good to know. This works. Probably a gazillion ways of doing this, but this works for me. So it's ready to stand in the living room again once more. Up until I make the front. Last piece of the subwoofer is the front with the fabric. I'm gonna use this piece of MDF that I used for something else, as you can see, but that's no problem. It gives me the opportunity to test fit, because nothing is well square on the subwoofer. The front is not exactly a square, unfortunately. So in the middle of the subwoofer, this is the sub, these sides are a bit closer together. So I did the same in this front. It should not be visible, but if I make this square or rectangular, it wouldn't fit. Or I adjust it and you will see that it's not sitting nicely on the top and the bottom of the sub. Well, I'll show you when I made this piece. So I'm first gonna do it on this random piece. It might be good enough. Who knows? So it doesn't look the part. This is crap MDF with glue on top, or it had glue on top, so finishing is not so nice, but I'll use the belt grinder real quick. That looks better. So the idea is this trough, or whatever it's called, I don't know, will house the staples. So it will be sitting like this. There's a few bumps here from old screw holes. Well, the magnets align, as you can see. Sort of. It's not holding all that tight. Gravity is doing its work. So it has to be the magnets, and hopefully the fabric will make it sit snug. Well, it's black, sort of. Looks wet still, but it isn't. Then there's two sides of this. This side or this side. I think this is the proper outside, which is a bit shiny. That's what it is. I thought this would be the funnest part, but I'm disappointed once more. It's not that fun. I don't like the magnets are not so strong, not as strong as I thought it would be. Matter of fact, it does fall off. So that sucks. I know why. Because I guess with the fabric all around it, the magnets are a little bit too far away. That doesn't work. So the magnets are too far away from these magnets that are inside the wood. So that sucks. This sucks. Option 3 is I don't care and put a shim in. But that would be cheating. Oh wait, maybe I can do both. I can cheat and have it look okay at the same time. That would be nice. So how much room do we have? That's too much. So something thinner. This is 2 millimeters. So that's too much. Maybe 1 millimeter. People probably think, like, why? What are you doing? Why don't you fix it correctly? Because I'm tired of it. That's why. So I put my acrylic here. Hopefully you can get it around the corner, would be nice. I doubt. Haha. So I made the bevel essentially 1 millimeter wider. Let's see how that fits. There you go. Saves me in a half an hour of work. Or maybe more. You see? If you cannot win it. That was a fast fix. So, the only thing is that there's now the camera cannot pick up because it's stretch material. You can see where you stretched it, and you can't get rid of that by, you know, doing this, feeling around and moving the fabric until it evens out nicely, so you don't see like stretch parts. Now the only thing is that some pieces here are a bit thick, and I'm not sure how to get rid of that. So corners are always hard because you have to fold the fabric. I don't know how they do it. It has to fold somewhere. So either they maybe make some room for it, I don't know. That such a little thing can be quite hard to do correctly. Yeah, so the fold is always visible, to me at least. Maybe just put in some more staples. My father, I believe, when he stretched something like this, he used like glue and just hammer it flat everywhere instead of staples, which is the easier way, staples. But I think the glue method could be the flattest way. But anyhow, this is what it is. So all the magnets are complete of no use. They're there for just more work. I should have done it straight away like this. You see? So it sticks out like 1 millimeter on all sides. So even nicer would be to have a tiny bit smaller wood, less thick. Maybe I'll do that, but MDF comes in 12, 8. So 8 is too thin. This is 12. Including the fabric is just a little bit too thick. Should have taken the fabric into account, but I didn't know it would extend so much because of the folding in the corners. But I think for now this is it. I like it, it's good enough for me, and I'm definitely not gonna make a second one, I think. Although I should have, because it's stupid to have 2 different ones, but well, when I muster the energy to do so, maybe in a year, I don't know. Yeah, let's do some measurements, or at least show you what the MFB controls do. So, this is not how you measure a subwoofer normally on a table, but this is the only way I can reach it with my mic. Since, well, I need a huge room to measure the frequencies I want, so this is my best bet. Still, I'm not sure if it's possible to measure like 20 Hertz. I guess it should. So there are 3 settings on the back. I'll show you the picture here. One says low, or let's start with volume, which is quite explanatory, I think, self-explanatory. It's the volume. Then the low is actually also volume, and I think it's because this plate amp is based on the grown-up plate amps, which have a 3-way, low, mid, and high. So I think that's the reason why it's still there. You put it up till the maximum because that's what you want. You want to, yeah, use your sub. So we can leave that control alone. So this is from right to left, which is kind of weird. But then you got the MFB control, which is set to 1 right now, so the lowest setting. And then you got the what was it? The DLP. So I guess dynamic low pass limiter. I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up in the data sheet. What it does is it limits kind of the low frequency if you force it to do a very loud 20 Hertz, for instance. There are a few settings, as you can see, but you can. It will limit the output power at a certain frequency, and I believe now it's at 1, so it's kind of off. I do not use it because I do not play that loud. But you could put it on 5, and then I guess it should like limit everything above a certain volume at a certain frequency, let's say 35 Hertz or something. But I do not use that feature. But what is interesting, of course, is the MFB feature. When it's set to 0 or 1, I'm not sure if it's completely off. I do not think it's completely off, because if I measure it, it still goes rather low. But what is most visible is that it creates, it let us show where the subwoofer on its own in a certain housing would like to play. And when you use the MFB, it forces it down and extends the low end, and also removes some distortion. But we'll see. So first I'll measure this with the MFB setting at the lowest setting. Do not ask me what volume this is because it's not calibrated. Do I need to calibrate it? No, I'm not gonna do. This thing is not gonna play insane loud. This is not a 105 dB subwoofer. That's why I have 2, or at least I should have 2 in the end. I do not know how loud it can play at what settings, so please do not ask me. If you want to know, maybe you can ask Chris if he knows. I don't know. I do not know. But this is at a volume I usually, when I integrate it with my main speakers, I measure at a way higher volume already. This is not how loud I usually listen. So let's measure it. It's actually without any crossover, so it plays as high as it can, apparently to 1 kilohertz, which is quite high for a subwoofer. But slightly before that, I believe 600, the MFB control is lost. So then it's just the woofer itself. As you can see in this measurement, it seems to have a peak around 40 to 80 hertz or 60. Well, let's say 55 hertz. And this is with the least amount of MFB. So I believe you see more how the box will perform, I believe. But I'm not sure. So, and this is the distortion. On its own, not even that bad, to be fair. So now I'll put the MFB control to the maximum. Max. Let's see what that does. So now they are kind of equal in output. And it still distorts at 20 hertz, which is not weird. More than in this one, because there is less output. And I think we're more in the region of maybe not maximum excursion, but it might be a little bit too much for this 8-inch driver to produce that much 20 hertz. But if you look at the, like, for instance, 40 hertz, with the MFB setting on 1, it creates 2.62% distortion, and on the MFB on 5, setting 5, it only produces 1.27 total harmonic distortion. Quite a difference. Here, this part here is quite a difference. Interestingly enough, the distortion here seems to be higher, but it's not fair because the output is also higher. So if we just look at distortion, for instance, 0.5, yeah, so it is slightly higher, but not much higher. This is, of course, a frequency you would not use, 300 hertz. But yeah, this region here is of interest for me, and it's where it performs as well the best. Without MFB, with MFB. So yeah, that's cool. The DLP setting I am not gonna look into because I'm not using it. I might look it up in the manual or data sheet, what Chris says about that, what it does. As I said, I believe it is limiting at a certain frequency if you overdrive it. So this means you can have 20 hertz for, let's say, down to 25 hertz perfectly fine up till a certain volume, and then it will limit it. This very low end, it will limit it, so the rest can play louder. And usually, since it's that low, you will not notice it. But if you play at a decent normal level, you can let it play down as low as it can. So you got the full thing. I'm not sure if it's called dynamic limiter or something, but I guess it is something like that. I mean, that's what it does. essentially. It limits at a frequency, at a certain volume. Yeah, so that's about it. I don't know how loud this is, but for me what is interesting is that at the frequencies of interest, it has lower distortion, and it goes pretty low. The minus 3 dB point is not insanely low, but it's at 20. Well, it is 24 hertz, minus 3 dB. So that's quite good. Yeah, not bad at all. More than enough for me. I might even move that up a little bit. But overall, the distortion is lower, which is really nice. So even at 24 hertz, it's 5.8 non-MFB, 4.7 with MFB. Well, it even has a higher output in the MFB version. So it is working harder, but it has lower distortion as with the MFB on setting 1. So take that into account. It should be much higher normally, but it is actually lower. So that's it. Quite unclear video, I guess. But I really need to finish this because I have to make something new. Sounds solid. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Bye bye.